Chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee, Tennessee Congressman Mark Green joins me. Now, Chairman Green is also a decorated combat veteran who was deployed to both Iraq and Afghanistan. He was on the mission that captured Saddam Hussein. I always like to point that out. Thank you, sir, for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Is there any chance, everybody's gone home from Washington, I'm still here, though, but I mean, the House, the Senate, everyone's gone home back in January, and it's an election year. Is there any chance there'll be any legislation passed having to do with our border between now and Election Day next November?
Well, the question is, how bad do the Democrats want this support for Ukraine? Obviously, we were hoping they wanted it bad enough to give us some border security, but apparently they don't, in the Senate, want any border security or can't agree on what they are willing to give up. So for now, I mean, we're at an impasse.
I think a lot of people don't understand this. I mean, you can be, if you're worried about humanitarian issues, this is a big issue for you because you've got cartels, you've got fentanyl, you've got human trafficking. If you're worried about national security, you've got people coming from some countries that have, questionable, relationship with the United States. I mean, there's a little bit something for everybody. So I don't understand why it is that, with something so important and the numbers so staggering, is the Biden administration just say no, or do they say there's no problem, or the president doesn't see it, or Mayorkas, the Homeland Secretary, he doesn't care? What is this?
I think their intentions are pretty clear. I mean, he knows, even Merrick Garland said in testimony to the Senate that this is what they're doing is facilitating both the cartel, human trafficking, and drug smuggling. So Mayorkas knows that what he's doing is actually accomplishing the objective of the drug cartels. And you layered in there, too, the national security threat from like Hamas. We got a war in Israel. China, a massive increase in Chinese military-age guys coming into the country. So all of those threats are real. Mayorkas is completely aware of it, but they've done nothing. So the only assumption I have is that they want this to happen. This is their intent. And in
to
some
what end,
hope
though? To what end? Because I'll tell you one thing is that they better hope there isn't a national security problem, because it is going to land in their lap in next November if anything happens. Because at least if they tried, we'd say, well, it's a tough problem. But if they don't try and something happens, they own that.
Yeah, they're going to own it. In fact, several Democrat congressmen have whispered to me they hope he fires Mayorkas, talking about Biden. Because, and the actual quote was, after Afghanistan, he should have fired somebody and he should definitely get rid of Mayorkas. These are Democrat congressmen who are whispering this in the background. They know this is going to hurt them come election time. You look at Chicago, you look at New York, you look at the state of Massachusetts. They're all saying it's a crisis. Well, do something. But unfortunately, Mayorkas continues the open policies, and it's maddening.
What's his problem? What's Mayorkas' problem? I mean, he's got to see that he can't possibly think this is not a problem. He can't possibly.
I think they don't care about the problem. Their goal is a massive influx of people that they think are going to vote Democrat. That's the best I can pull out of this, because otherwise it makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, the problem is that they may vote Democrat. I don't know if they will or they won't.
They probably won't.
I'll tell you one thing that I don't know, but you've got fentanyl, you've got all the other problems and everything, and it's too bad that everyone looks at it in terms of political instead of terms of national security, human rights, economic, the whole works. But we'll see what happens in the new year with that deal with the Ukraine money. Chairman Mark Green, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Greta.